I can tell already, like, there's a lot of I think there's a big difference in the way we work.
Okay, why Japanese people low productivity? Many people say, okay, service industry is low productivity, but I don't believe it. Why Japanese is totally low productivity for business? Why Japanese people cannot get profit compared with overseas people? Overseas company bottom line is 15%, 20%. Japanese, many companies just 1 digit. How come they so low? Why? What the reason is? I think, okay, we're going to doing business with overseas company. They try to chase more profit, but Japanese people not chasing profit, but I don't want to do business with those companies. Why?
I know. Well, I actually, I really wonder, like, why banks need so many staff. Why why a consulting company needs 100 people to work on brand and communication.
I know banks. They
That's
I
mean,
know that.
Obviously, that's low productivity. Obviously.
I understand.
I don't.
80% should fight.
I don't. Yeah, it's really true. I mean, that's why there's too many people busy doing things that do not really create output. It's just internal churn. It's just internal waste.
Why but Japanese people management doing like that?
Create their own empire.
Empire.
It's not. I mean, basically, what I understand from Japan is that they are judging their efficiency and effectiveness about their primary process. So if it's manufacturing, they're very cost aware of what's going on the floor and how they can make it more efficient. But whatever is working in the back office is kind of like taken out of consideration. That is basically a fixed cost that you cannot touch. That's a black box, and basically in a black box, everybody who wants to make a career wants.
What do you mean black box?
A black box. It's not transparent. We cannot see really on the inside. It doesn't really measure its own productivity.
I know that.
Right.
What do you mean?
I mean that basically, when it comes to efficiency, the people on the work floor, the blue collar workers, are hyper efficient, but the people in the offices, the white collar workers, are very inefficient because basically, too many people are hired doing things that do not really contribute to the primary process. And why are so many people hired? Because the more people you hire, the bigger boss you become. And that is good for your careers, because at the end you will end up higher in the hierarchy, even though you have been managing a division that did not really actually bring productivity stronger. They actually reduced the profitability of the entire organization.
Exactly. I agree with you. Okay, this is Japanese company productivity. We try to less people.
Right.
More. Less people, we try to.
Of course, it should be possible. Of course, there are so many people busy doing such a small thing.
Okay, we are trying to discuss switching to the again more global issues. So, what kind of action we need to take global?
As Japanese companies?
Yeah.
I think step number one is to get a more global mindset, to really be understandable, to really understand how the other side thinks and how they work. And then step number two is actually...
What we should going to do for what you say? What you mean is more...
Well, I think that's basically what we put out into our pyramid, where we say, okay, lowest level, at least be able to communicate, so create an infrastructure, English language. Step number two is to become aware of what influences the mindset of those people. So become aware of global affairs, the country that you're doing business with, know a little bit about their culture, their history, where they come from, etc. So to become more aware of what is on their mind. Step number 3 was, I think it was about persuasion. It was about persuasion, then about debate, and then about negotiation. But that's the skill level. Then the step above that was about building trust. So not only connecting and doing the basics, the process, but above that, building trust, becoming an interesting person to the other side. And that the highest level is actually to get to know yourself so that you can actually not just adapt yourself to them, but actually become very much aware of who you are. Because that's, if you are a strong person, a person who knows himself, who knows where he comes from, and who knows his own strength, is valued, is an interesting person for foreigners, because he has an identity. He has he can tell us more. He's an interesting person.
Okay, you said second. What's the second step?
The second step is actually, okay, now once we have come that far, organizing ourselves in a way that we will be better equipped to engage in business with foreigners. That means that, okay, making sure that we have legal arrangements, so we don't have to sweat it so much if we are going to do negotiations with foreigners, because we have legal arrangement that will enable us to engage in business with them. It means that our managers are capable of communicating, not only communicating, but also influencing and directing foreigners when they're doing business. So it's not like, okay, I don't want to go there, or I don't want to manage those people because I don't really know how to connect with them. I don't really know how to influence them. So that means that actually understanding the Western management style and how understanding the principles of the whip and the carrot. Otherwise, you cannot move Westerners in a business setting. Those are two examples as how you can transform your business and transform your people to.
How do they going to study management business style? How do they going to study?
Oh, that could be training of your institute.
How are they going to do that?
How are they going to do that? Well, basically, for example, one thing that you could teach them is internal negotiation. Why internal negotiation?
What does it mean, internal negotiation?
Internal negotiation means that the person who's going to represent you is going to engage in internal negotiation. That's very common in Europe.
What does it mean?
It means that you are, before you're engaging in a negotiation with the client, you're going to negotiate internally, because basically you're going to make a request for proposal or request for quotation, for example.
Persuade internal people?
Yes, not persuade to do it your way, but you are going to say, okay, basically we are going to ask $10 million from this client, and as a negotiator, I go to the sales department and say, I want to be able to lower the price to $9 million, right? Okay, I'm going to bring the 10 million to the table, but I want to be able to say yes if we get 9 million under these conditions. So internal negotiation means that you create space to actually negotiate with the other side.